a beautiful subscriber. I believe your name is Hope. Did I remember that correctly? I better have. Hold up. Wait a minute. Yes, Miss Hope Green. Beautiful subscriber. Gave me such a beautiful comment. It made my heart swell in happiness. Love it. So I decided to come back and do like a little mid-season checkup. So that is the woman to thank. If you are thankful for it, I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to come and talk a little bit. This one's going to be a little bit different. Typically, I come in here and I chase the drama of whatever just happened, the blind side, the wall, comp, the eviction. But now we're kind of like into like a solid month now. The house has completely reshaped itself. Half my original rates have either landed or flopped, which that's literally what happens in astrology. We're just talking. None of this is absolute. Y'all know how I feel. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to stop and like take the whole temperature of the room in and do one episode where I'm going through everybody, their chart, this guy sitting on top of them right now, and how they're actually playing. So this is kind of like a mid-season checkup. I'm going to go person by person, group by group, and I'm going to be honest about all of it, including the people I can't stand. Because here's the thing I'm going to say right off top. Kamu has kicked into gear, okay? I still cannot stand that man, and you all know exactly why. None of that has changed, and none of it is forgiven. Especially because he hasn't apologized, because he doesn't know that we were upset with him on the outside, but he should know. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's playing a bad game just because I may want him gone or may not like him. He's kind of playing a good one right now. And so I have to give credit where credit is due, even when it's kind of through a little bit of gritted teeth, okay? But I'm going to tell you who I've cooled off all the way off of by the end as well, because I watched a conversation this week that really kind of flipped something in me, but I'm going to get there. But first, let me set the sky, because the sky is doing something loud this week. So here's what's overhead as I record this. We have 4 planets stacked up in Leo. The sun is in Leo. Moon is in Leo. Mercury just moved into Leo. Jupiter's in Leo. So we have 4. That is the spotlight the size of the ceiling. Leo is the part of the year, deep summer, when everything's at its loudest and most on display. So as a pattern, it's the energy of performing, being seen, wanting to be adored, playing to the camera, and kind of making like the big dramatic gesture, which is kind of why this house right now is just one giant hall of crushes and diary room performances and people making moves that are really just auditions for America. And this is not a coincidence. This is the whole room running on Leo. And I think you should hold on to that because it explains half of what everyone's doing. Then we got Venus. Venus, this is the planet of who bonds with who, and it is in Libra, the sign of partnership. Venus went into Libra right as the entire alliance chart shattered and started recoupling. So every single kind of like, oh, wait, are we a 4 now? Conversation is literally happening under a Venus that's obsessed with pairing off. And I kind of think that's our alliance reshuffle written in the sky. And then we got Mars into Cancer. So Mars is the planet of conflict and drive, and it just crossed out of Gemini and into Cancer this week. So this is a real shift. Gemini Mars is like combat by words, arguing, lying, talking your way out. That was the blindside era, the era of D, flipping the vote with her mouth. Mars in Cancer is combat by feelings, protectiveness, by mood, by who you're loyal to. So watch the fights change flavor from here, I think. A little bit of less debate and more hurt feelings, if anything. And then, we also have Saturn. Saturn is still in retrograde in Aries on the exact same degree as haunted all season. Saturn is the planet of the bill coming due, the ego reckoning. So keep that one in your pocket. And I think it matters for a couple of these people specifically. All right, let's walk the house. So Group 1, first we're going to talk about the icons, the ones that nobody will touch, okay? The 3 vets, they have gone a full month without hitting the block. Not nominated, barely discussed as an option. So let's look at why the charts let them get away with it. First, D, the mastermind who plays dumb. D is a Libra sun, Mercury in Virgo, Venus and Mars both in Leo, and a Gemini moon. That's genuinely a dangerous combination. And let me just kind of explain how these pieces fit. So the Libra sun is the charm. This is the likability. This is the she's so fun, everyone keeps saying. Then the Mercury in Virgo underneath is the cold calculator, smooth operator, the part that reads the board perfectly and knows how to do the math. And then you got the Venus and Mars in Leo. And remember, we have 4 planets in Leo overhead right now, lighting those up. This is the part of her that craves the big theatrical move, the blind side, the moment. And the Gemini moon is the one that gets bored and needs a chaos to just feel alive. So when you put all of that together, we see how when she looked at a plan, that was working perfectly, right? said out loud that it was going too well and she was bored and torched it on the whim. She literally flipped the vote, blindsided Lyric out, and then lied about her own vote so smoothly people end up thanking her for it. And on the feeds, she straight up said people believe her because she plays stupid so well. She's actually only real competition winner in the house actually too as well. And she has everyone convinced she doesn't understand the game. You see, that gap between how harmless the Libra looks and how sharp the Virgo actually is, that is the whole thing. And that's why no one's coming for her yet. Now, my honest game read, separate from the chart, I have a Survivor fan soft spot problem with Dee and Devin being on the cast at all. I've said it. I don't want the returnees here if I was there. But I can't deny that she's the best player in the house right now. I was watching the roundtable, and I think they gave her, really wild swinging scores. I think Matt LaGloria gave her, a 9. So it's interesting, because in one moment she gets a 5, 9 in another. A roundtable, if you don't know, is Rob has a podcast. They go through all the players. They give them rankings. There's a whole website thing that I've never done, actually. I have done, what year? I think it did on Taylor's season, but to be honest with you, no, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say, I don't really, the website's not my favorite, and they know that there. It's just something that, they keep going, because it's an awesome thing. You get to, go through the players throughout the week, and you kind of bet on them a little bit, but you don't get cash. You get bragging rights in a sense. But anyway, that's a roundtable. They go through and they give the players scores. There were 3 people. Taryn, Melissa are typically there, and then they rotate a third person out a lot throughout the season. But anyway, so like I said, 5 in one moment, 9 in another, and I do think that swing is correct because she made a genuinely unnecessary mistake, and then literally she ended up outplaying everyone to erase it. And I just feel like that's the Gemini moon creating a fire and the Virgo Mercury just kind of calmly putting it out. So now let's talk about Devin, the one on the pool floaty with a diamond in his pocket. So Devin is the Aries sun, Venus in Taurus, Mars in Scorpio, and retrograde with the little Gemini flavor moon. And his week, it couldn't look more different than Dee's. She was doing surgery all week, and by comparison, he was floating in a flamingo pool boat. But let me tell you why this worked for his chart, because Aries sun wants to compete and win, sure. But the Venus in Taurus is the part that likes comfort, ease, letting the good thing ride. And a retrograde Mars in Scorpio is a very particular thing. It's aggression that kind of runs underground instead of out loud. So he doesn't need to swing at anyone in public. He's got a diamond power of veto in his pocket, which is good for a few more weeks. So his security is already quietly handled. This, to me, is such a Mars and Scorpio retrograde way to hold power, because you never know he had the biggest weapon in the house because he's not waving it around. And honestly, something else too, and I think the roundtable may have said this too, I may be referring to him a lot, but he keeps talking about targeting Drew more than anyone. And I kind of want to shake him up a little bit, sir, you have a crush adjacent daughter figure thing with half the house and a secret veto. Please, want to win as much as you want to have fun, but positionally, I don't think anyone can point at him and say he wronged them. It's almost kind of untouchable and lazy about it in a way that his chart is completely comfortable with. Anyway, let's get on to Angela, the vet whose mask didn't slip, it shattered. So Angela, she has a Leo sun right on the Aries edge, Venus in Virgo, Mars in Taurus, and Angela is my clearest example this week of the chart explaining the whole meltdown. So Leo sun needs to be seen as good, as loyal, as the one with the integrity. But the Venus in Virgo, it wants everything clean and correct. And then the Mars in Taurus is not about to let go of things. So it's going to be someone who holds and holds. So when we think about what happened, Angela went along with the blind side, right? And she agreed to lie about the vote. And then, with 4 planets in Leo overhead pressing on that Leo pride, she couldn't carry it. She cracked. She cried all night. She confessed the whole lie to Haley just to get the guilt off her chest, which is such a terrible game move. And it literally blew up her own best relationship in the house. Come on, Angela. But that's the difference I keep going back to. Dee lies and feels nothing because Dee's chart is built for the game. Angela lies and cannot sleep because Angela's chart is built to be seen as a good person. So it's interesting because you have these two people who are in the same alliance but opposite wiring. And that's why I think long term, Angela is the vet most likely to just sort of float to the end unbothered and least likely to be able to save herself if the shot ever actually comes. Because she is playing Dee and Devin's game, not her own. So, what you gonna do about that, boo? Anyway, I can't say I love you, Angela, but I like you, Angela. So, second group, FAP. The 4 that's quietly becoming the house. So yes, the alliance is called FAP. There's nothing I can do about that. It's Drew, Melody, Mallory, and Barrett. And as the house shrinks, this 4-person block kind of becomes a bigger thing and now is going to start having a bigger share of the vote. So even though, I want to laugh when I realize their name is FAP, We gotta take them seriously to some degree. I wonder what the show is gonna do if, like, they really didn't start mentioning them. That's what's for. The alliance formerly called FAP, now called, I don't know. Anyway, so Drew. Drew is the comp threat throwing comps. He is an Aquarius Sun, Cancer Moon, Capricorn Mercury, Pisces Venus, Taurus Mars. 2 weeks ago, he was saying goodbye to Melody through the glass. We all thought he was a goner. And now, he's not even on the block, which is a good big bounce back. The chart read on Drew is the Aquarius Sun plus the Taurus Mars combo. It's a specific kind of player because Aquarius is detached. It watches from a step back, doesn't get swept up. And Taurus Mars is slow, steady, conserves energy, and it only exerts it when it has to, which is exactly what he's doing. He's reportedly throwing HOH comps. He's sitting back. He's letting the game come to him because he genuinely believes he doesn't need to win yet. And here's the thing. He's probably right. And it's probably his best path. Because if that fabulous four, limps to the end, Drew is likely the strongest competitor of the group, and he beats most of them. But my worry for him is that the same as the Cancer Moon's blind spot, he is very emotionally anchored to melody and to comfort. And a Taurus Mars can sit still so long, it will forget to move when it finally needs to. Melody, the #1 fan favorite, who needs to leave her corner, okay? She really does. So Melody is a Pisces Sun, Gemini Moon, Aquarius Mercury, Pisces Venus, Aries Mars. Her and I, we actually share a lot of placements. I'm a Pisces Sun, I'm an Aquarius Mercury. Okay, that's it. I'm an Aries Venus, Pisces Mars. But anyway, Miss Melody has just taken the #1 popularity spot. Her diary rooms are popping, and in the words of the internet, bangers. And, like, let's look at why. With 4 planets in Leo overhead, Leo season rewards the performer. And a Pisces Sun with a Gemini Moon, that's a natural mimic and emoter. She feels everything, and she's quick and funny about it, so she's made for this exact stretch of sky. And the camera loves her right now because the sky loves a performer right now. And game-wise, though, and I have to be real, the Pisces Sun and the Pisces Venus are the softest, most go-with-the-current placements in the zodiac. Very mutable. So she flows towards her people, Drew and Mallory, and she doesn't always build outside that corner. And her Aries Mars, it gives her a spark, but it's buried under all that water. So she's coasting on being adored, which is lovely, and she's being dragged by a strong 4, which is safe. But, like, if that raft ever pops, she has almost no relationships of her own to swim to. She's a fan favorite, not yet a player. And the next time capsule vote is probably hers. And even that is getting kind of handed to her rather than her taking it. So, she's interesting, but I love her signs. I love her placements, okay? I love her placements. Next, Mallory. Mallory, I would call her the social glue with no killer instinct yet. So Mallory's a Gemini Sun and Gemini Moon, Gemini Mercury, Venus in Cancer, Mars in Cancer. So she's a double Gemini on top with a whole lot of Cancer underneath, and Mars just moved into Cancer this week, right onto her Mars and Venus, which is interesting because it should turn her drive on, make her more protective, more willing to fight for her people. And so the double Gemini is why she's socially fine with everyone, very light, chatty, non-threatening, and why the vets all say they love her and would target her last. However, the Cancer underneath is why she plays with her heart. She picked her best friend Melody for the punishment instead of doing anything strategic with it. That's pure Venus and Mars in Cancer, where she would choose comfort and her person over any calculated moves. And with Mars right now actually activating Cancer, I'd watch for her to get a little bit more protective and more willing to actually swing the next couple of weeks. But right now, she's glue and she's not a knife. Barrett. So Barrett is a Virgo Sun, Moon on the Aries cusp, Virgo Mercury, Virgo Venus, Leo Mars. He's a triple Virgo, basically, and it's showing in the worst way for his game, ain't gonna lie. He's on the block this entire week as a pawn, and when Lala said she wanted to use him, he was so careful, so by the book, that he wouldn't even push back or pitch an alternative, which is the Virgo stack, because Virgo is very precise, rule following, doesn't really want to overstep, and wants to do it correctly. And in Big Brother, doing it correctly is how you sleep, walk onto the block. So his Leo Mars, however, I feel like should give him an edge or flare of ego, a push. No, here's what you actually should do instead. But I think with the 4 planets in Leo overhead, I think it's also the perfect week for him to have used that energy, but instead he swallowed it. As a fellow person, I also do think I would overthink the correct move. I get it, but I really wanted him to just argue. Like, a super fan should know that being an agreeable pawn is literally how you become an easy vote later on. So, the new middle, where the game kind of actually is. This is kind of a live wire of the house right now. We got Lala's HOH plus the 3 people who are like orbiting her. So, Lala, you all know how I feel about this one because I talked about it from episode 1. Lala, Latrice, has one of the rarest charts in the house: Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, all in Cancer with the Pisces moon. She is almost pure water, and everyone reads her as a sweet mom who'd float out early. And I said, don't do that, because water is the element of endurance, and the crab, it wins by doing one thing better than anyone else: it holds on. But she won the wall. She's 58 years old, almost 60, against a room half her age, against Kamu the athlete, and she outlasted every single one of them, because a wall pump is not muscle. It is how bad do you want it? Who is going to refuse to drop? And refusing to drop is the single most Cancer thing a person can do. So here's the part that lights me up, though. Mars just moved into Cancer this week, right into her entire chart, right as she's holding power. So the planet of drive just walked into her house. So this is her strongest moment of the season by the sky and by the game at the same time. And don't forget, when I talk about this stuff, I'm not trying to, like, I do talk about, ooh, who's my winner pick, who's my sleeper pick. That's like my fun. I'm not sitting here predicting if she's going to win the game. I cannot do that. I'm not going to do that. We can throw thoughts out here, but this is all it is. So even though she's like my pick, she could easily be gone next week. And like what I said still stands about the way she played the game. But anyway, she is kind of letting Taylor drive the HOH, and her Cancer Pisces softness, it kind of means she didn't use the week to build her own web of loyalty. She almost did the housework instead of her own. Dee's already talking about targeting her. So she's a water sign who won the endurance test, but she hasn't, I think, built a shell around herself for next week. But yeah, she still is my like long game sleeper. I'm still rooting for her. And if anything, she gets put on the blog, like I think she's a very strong contender for being able to take herself off as well. So we got options. Now we get to Miss Taylor girl. So Taylor's a Libra Sun, Capricorn Moon, Libra Mercury, Virgo Venus, Leo Mars. On paper, this is a very strong strategic chart, okay? Because the Libra, it reads people. The Capricorn Moon is ambitious and controlled. The Virgo Venus is precise. The Leo Mars wants to lead. And for weeks, I was on board. But she's funny. She's sharp. She grabbed this HOH by the will and she steered it. And I respect that a Capricorn Moon wants to control the outcome instead of just having fun with the power. But I walked her talk to Chuck this week and I'm kind of over it. Not really over her. I'm over him, I think. And I didn't mean to bleed this into Taylor's, but she sat there and she gave that man every good piece of advice she ever had. Take off your hat when you talk to people. Try a little harder. Engage. She gave him real coaching, generous coaching from someone actually trying to look out for him. And he just sat there. I don't think he observed a word of it. I don't think he values her the way you should value the one person going out of their way for you. And I'm not sure if she truly picked up on that. And watching her spend that energy on someone who just won't use it while she's also out here sharing information all over the house that are just gathering it, I'm not the biggest fan, because here's the Libra shadow. And Taylor's got a double dose of Libra. Libra wants to be in every conversation, liked in every room, advise and connect and be seen as a smart one. And that same instinct that makes her a good coach, I think, is making her leak, because she's telling people things instead of collecting things. D, she's clocked her. She's the one in this new middle who's got the biggest target on her back, and she did it partially by being too generous with her insight to people like Chuck who can't even use it. She is still talented. I just stopped being sure she's playing to win instead of playing to be the smartest one in the room, and those are honestly different games. So Yash gives me a jag feel. Little secret sleeper. Yash is Aquarius Sun, Capricorn Moon, Capricorn Mercury, Aquarius Venus, Aries Mars, and Yash is my quiet favorite development of the whole season. Week 1, he almost went home first. Now, let's see. Who's targeting this man? Nobody. And here's the chart. Aquarius Sun plus Capricorn Moon is the ultimate under-the-radar operator. Detached, patient, unbothered, playing a long, careful game while looking like they're barely playing at all. Yash can slide into any room, agree with who's ever talking, and no one thinks twice. The vets love him. Taylor and Lala fold him right in. Kamu's bonding with him. Even when Drew caught him in between a little bit of vote messiness, the worst anyone could say was that Yash was a little wishy-washy, and that's literally it. His Aries Mars is the hidden engine, the willingness to actually make a move when the moment comes. However, he is a little wrapped up in his cool Aquarius Capricorn that no one feels threatened. If an anti-icon revolution ever kicks off, I genuinely think Yash could be the one quietly leading it, and he could get away clean. So he's a dark horse. I think we should watch him. Am I missing someone? Oh, he just put right here. So, Kamu, yeah, I'm gonna give him his due. I want to be crystal clear before I say one nice thing. My problem with Kamu is not a game problem. It is a real world character problem. And I've told you what that is, and nothing about a good week in a TV house changes any of it. Astrology, it describes a pattern. It never excuses a person. Hold both those at once because I'm about to praise the gameplay and only the gameplay. Okay? So Kamu Kirk is an Aries sun, late in Aries, Taurus moon, Aries Mercury, Taurus Venus, Pisces Mars, and the game read on Aries is the thing to understand here because Aries thrives when it's cornered, when it's backed into a wall, and it comes out swinging at its most alive. So when the blind side blew up his whole position and he woke up genuinely in danger, that Aries fired all the way up. So he goes into the room and he doesn't leave until he pitches his way off the block, and he did it. Talked himself out of a near certain nomination onto a whole new 4. Then he won the veto. That is a corner turning into a comeback, and it is the most Aries sequence there is. But watch the Saturn piece because this is a thread I've been pulling on all season. Saturn is retrograde in Aries, sitting on the ego, and Kamu's whole game is Aries ego. So the same fire that saves him when he's being cornered is the same Aries Saturn that keeps circling. He almost lost that wall to Lala because he got complacent. He assumed he wouldn't be beaten by her, and he nearly slipped. That's the ego bill on the horizon. And then that got that Taurus moon and Taurus Venus. And they're why he's able to plant himself and be immovable in a conversation. Very stubborn in the good way for a pitch. And I'm going to say the quiet part, he is the best pure competitor left. Okay? And this ain't like a shot shooing for the challenge. But week 1 safety, a comp HOH, the veto, second on the wall. As a game this week, it was genuinely well played by him. I hate it here, but it was. The catch for him, though, is that Pisces Mars and all that Taurus, it wants to settle, and the people he's protecting by not using the veto, the FAP 4, are the exact people planning to target him. So his ego says he's safe and free, and Saturn Aries is standing right there saying, is it though? Is it though? Now group 4, the sinking ship, Haley and Chuck. Almost certainly one of them is leaving. So let's read them out with some care, if we dare. Haley, she's a scapegoat this guy keeps picking on. So Haley's a Virgo sun, Virgo moon, Virgo Mercury, and it's in retrograde. Venus in Leo, Mars in Leo. And Haley's whole season is one of the most genuinely unlucky stories in the chart, okay? So you got the Virgo stack, sun, moon, and retrograde Mercury. That's very anxious, self-critical, overthinking, replaying every interaction. That's a really hard wiring to have in a house that decided in week 1 that it was going to make you the scapegoat. And she didn't strategically blow herself up this week. The vets, they flipped the vote for fun, and they pinned the blame on her. That's more bad luck than bad play, but the Venus and Mars in Leo is the tell for the little bit of messier part, because that placement takes things personally, and it turns hurt into vendetta, and with 4 planets in Leo overhead right now, it's kind of inflamed. And her jealousy over the attention Kamu was giving Lyric is a huge part of why she torched that relationship. So, because it's Leo Venus, it wants the spotlight, and it cannot stand watching it go somewhere else. So she's a Virgo who overthinks her game into the ground, and a Leo-hearted person who can't let us go at the exact moment this guy is turning the Leo volume all the way up. Very tough chart, very tough week, probably the only way out. But she's probably on the way out, is what I was trying to say. Now we got Chuck, even though it's CHVK. I don't remember. Is it CHVK? I think it's CHVK. Chuck is a Libra sun, Pisces moon, Libra Mercury, Libra Venus, Leo Mars, triple Libra, essentially with the Pisces moon. And this is the read that ties my whole Taylor moment together, okay? Because triple Libra, I cannot speak. Triple Virgo, triple Libra. Triple Libra is agreeable, easygoing, conflict avoidant. It wants to be liked and wants everything to be smooth, which sounds nice, but is death in this game because he won't push, he won't fight, he won't make anyone uncomfortable. So who's going to be sticking their neck out for him? Not I. His Leo Mars, it could be a little flare of drive, but it's buried underneath all that Libra peacekeeping and that foggy, passive Pisces moon. So when Taylor sat down and handed him a real usable coaching, the chart tells you exactly why it balanced. Exactly why this little triple Libra Pisces moon guy just nods along. Because he wants the conversation to be pleasant, and he doesn't actually internalize the hard note or act on it. He all here was take off your head, try harder as a nice note instead of the lifeline that it was. And that's the thing that cooled me on Taylor a little bit from the other direction too, because I'm watching her pour some good Virgo Venus precision into a triple Libra who was never going to use it. He's underwhelming. And I don't think he's a bad person. I just think he's a Libra who came to have a pleasant summer and forgot it's a competition. And if he stays over Haley, it's literally because he's inoffensive. It's not because he earned it. So, my read on the whole room, my read on the whole mid-season shape of it in the sky. We got 4 planets in Leo, the entire house playing to the cameras, chasing adoration and building crushes instead of alliance, like Matt Lagori said. Which is why the game kind of feels a little bit more loose and personal, a little more horny right now instead of structured, okay? Venus and Libra is recoupling every one into new pairs and fours as fast as the old ones break. Mars just moved into Cancer, so the fights are about to get less about clever words and more about hurt feelings and loyalty. So watch the tone change. And Saturn is still retrograde in Aries with one specific bill circling, and I think we all know who. And if you're keeping my scorecard, the water sign that endured. And I was right about Lala. The mastermind is a Libra hiding a Virgo, and no one's caught her. The dark horse is the Aquarius, who's no one's aiming at. And the one I've cooled on is a double Libra, who's coaching people who can't be coached instead of protecting yourself. So that's the house. That's the sky. Same as always. The chart describes the pattern. It never excuses the person. Okay? Never excuses the person. And I'm going to keep both of those true no matter who's winning. But before you go, drop your Sun and Mars in the comments, because this is a 4 planets in Leo week, and I want to know who among you is out there making a big dramatic play for attention right now, because it probably is. Be honest. And if you want to know the whole cast placements on one page so you can play right along at home, my free BB28 cheat sheet has every one of them. Links waiting for you. In fact, actually, honestly, I may just like post that on Blue Sky so like other people can have it as well. And then like if you want to join my email list, you can. I would love for you to join it. Anyway, I love you. Hold on. Let's see who's standing in next week, and hope E Green. Thanks for inspiring me to like do another episode of my brother. Got me hyped, girl. All right. Bye. See you later, people.